Hello, everyone. Welcome. Here we are again. The dinosaur guy talks about his point of opinion of another dinosaur documentary that just got released. This one is arguably probably one of the most important dinosaur medias of all time, and that is Walking with Dinosaurs. There's apparently a new season that, well, I'd say a whole new show, Walking with Dinosaurs 2, that just dropped out. I watched all of it, and now it's time for me to give my points of view and opinions on it. And now, granted, um, yeah, what I'm gonna say is gonna be my a bit of honesty. A bit of. I'm gonna try and be fair. Say stuff that I did like about the show, and say stuff that I didn't like about the show. Just for a little bit of a fair warning. I think there's more bad stuff than good stuff, but whatever. But I think, it's important because, like, Walking with Dinosaurs, it's like probably one of the most important dinosaur medias. Of course, it doesn't beat Jurassic Park, but I think when Jurassic Park got released in 1993, was it 1992, 1993, one of those two. When the Jurassic Park got released, that sparked the excitement of dinosaurs. But I think it's only until Walking with Dinosaurs got released when it showed the true fascinating potential of how interesting these animals are. Like when you saw Jurassic Park, right? And then you go, oh wow, dinosaurs are cool. But then Walking with Dinosaurs came out, and they showed you displaying them like animals rather than movie monsters, and that sparked probably a giant line of paleontologists. For me, especially, obviously I can't think way back when I was a small little baby child, but I'm like 90% certain, sure, 80% sure that Walking with Dinosaurs is what got me into liking dinosaurs through a scientific perspective. Of course, I still think of them cool as movie monsters, right? But it's the way that the show showed them acting like animals. It was really cool, and then it just went on even further with more dinosaur documentaries. Got inspired by that show and made other stuff like Dinosaur Planet, Planet Dinosaur, real creative, Dinosaur Revolution, and then more recently, Prehistoric Planet and Life on Our Planet, I think is the other one by Morgan Freeman. Yeah, and then even me myself, who has created 4 different dinosaur documentaries, and it all comes back down to Walking with Dinosaurs. So this is a very, very important dinosaur documentary for many people, right? So how does this sequel hold up? And I'm going to calling it a sequel is very lightly, because in all honesty, this show really was it's only Walking with Dinosaurs by name, right? Because, like, it doesn't share the music. It doesn't share that famous intro with the sunrise and the whoa, whoa. It doesn't even show the same color scheme of previous returning dinosaurs that were in the original series and are coming back into this show. Dinosaurs like Utah Raptor and T-Rex, right? Obviously, the design, the model would be different because what we knew about dinosaurs in 1999 is completely different to what we know about dinosaurs in 2025, right? This, like Utah Raptor, for example, was it wasn't a scaly animal, weird, skinny, two-legged lizard thing. It's more like we knew it had feathers now and stuff, but you can still interpret the same color scheme of the previous Utah Raptor into this Utah Raptor, right? You still could have given it that cool yellow color. In fact, I don't know why they dropped the color scheme. It was a cool color scheme for the Utah Raptor, but whatever, right? So, I guess I'll go into the good stuff first about what I liked about Walking with Dinosaurs 2. Because again, like I said, it's nothing. It doesn't even have the same narrator, which would be willing to like shrug that off. But like, it's just this show isn't really, and I'll get into even deeper reason why. But like the good stuff, right? First off, the dinosaur models. Despite everything, the dinosaur models themselves weren't that bad. Some of them looked nice, and pretty accurate. I liked how the dinosaurs, like the Tyrannosaurus Rex, looked. The Mosasaurs, various other dinosaurs that appeared here and there that probably would not have known. There was some stuff like where they displayed certain dinosaurs which are usually depicted as like cannon fodder, actually like showing them like defending themselves in some sort of way. But I think that's all I can really say about the good stuff. And now some of the more, let's say, harsher stuff, right? Or critiques, let's say. First off, so this show, for some reason, had a weird habit. Well, I guess not weird. It's just more of an annoying habit of cutting out of the dinosaur stuff to go look at paleontology. Which, don't get me wrong, seeing paleontologists as a paleontologist myself, it's always interesting and unique to see people out in the field and digging the fossil stuff up and looking at the neat little tactics they use to find the fossils, seeing the bones themselves and how they interpret it. That stuff's cool, right? But the problem with this show is that the paleontology stuff, that could have just been on an episode on its own. If anyone was interested in looking at how paleontologists looked at the dinosaur bones, then they could just watch that single episode. But all 6 episodes had constant, frequent moments where they would stop the dinosaur stuff and then temporarily, quickly, look at this paleontologist team is looking at these bones, blah blah blah, and it just goes on for a little bit. And like I said, I'm not saying that stuff's bad. That is always cool and interesting to look at. But when you come to watch a dinosaur documentary, especially from Walking with Dinosaur standards, where it's literally just a show that is literally just you watching the dinosaurs be dinosaurs, we don't really want to see us getting dragged away from that dinosaur world to look at the paleontologists every now and then. Just let the paleontology stuff be its own unique episode. Another critique, and this is a very annoying critique, and I'm really annoyed that this would be in Walking with Dinosaurs of all things. But they had this habit where the carnivores, except for 2 episodes, right? And I'll get into those 2 episodes in just a moment. I guess 2 or 3 episodes. But for most of the episodes, they pretty much vilify the carnivores, right? They make them, they turn some of the episodes into such a Disney film. Look at the baby Triceratops playing with the Edmontosaurus. Oh no, a T-Rex came out and it's ruined everything. It's mind you, that same T-Rex, they literally did nothing with the T-Rex except for making it be the big bad T-Rex that comes after the dinosaurs. Or even the bloody Edmontonia? No, that's the wrong. Was Gastonia episode, right? First off, they only had I'll go into the other thing in critique actually in a moment, but the Utah Raptors that they had with the Gastonia are such unnecessarily bloodthirsty monsters. Literally, stuff. This is a spoiler review now. This is because this just bugs me too much. But literally, they had a moment in the show where the Utah Raptors hunted the Gastonia. They they successfully killed one and they're eating it, and then suddenly the pack leader suddenly turns to the other Gastonia, the main Gastonia that we're following, which first off, I don't think Gastonia lived in herds. That's another critique, is that the show, despite being a dinosaur documentary and showing some good stuff, like the T-Rex padding and stuff and various things, also had a few stuff which are very, very questionable of a choice, and Gastonia is one of them. Yes, Gastonia, when they are young, do have like soft armor because like it needs to develop over age, and those moments when the young ankylosaurs are together, sure, but they just depicted Gastonia just overall constantly like it's living in a herd, which like I don't think ankylosaurs lived in herds. But anyways, back to the scene. So even though the raptors have a fresh, neat new kill right there to eat, for some reason it decided the thrill of the kill, it has sparked its aggression and it's now going to like what the hell do you mean? It's that doesn't happen. That's not a thing. Only movie monsters do that. That's why is it going after the other Gastonia when it has a perfectly good kill over there? And then they had the hadrosaurs come in, and mind you, that's the only time the hadrosaurs ever appear again. That's the only thing they ever do with that hadrosaurs, is that they just walk by and then the Utah Raptors just go, oh yeah, we'll hunt that, even though there's a fresh body right there. Why are they so bloodthirsty? And even later on, when there's a bushfire, logic tells, by logic, the Utah Raptors should be trying to run away and find an escape with a fire. But instead what happens is that they come across the Gastonians and it's like, oh, it's one final showdown. Like, what are you talking about? Why are they... It's the Gastonia episode was like by far the worst episode. And it's just, I don't really like how they villainified... They only made the carnivores monsters. Except when the episode is about them, funny enough. If the episode is focused purely around the carnivores, suddenly that treatment is like they're not monsters anymore. Now we're rooting for them. Like the Spinosaurus and the Albertosaurus episodes. Which, funny enough, those episodes probably feel the most like an actual Walking with Dinosaurs episode. Spinosaurus one especially, And I'll give you that. It is nice to see Spinosaurus, the new Spinosaurus, in action. And and really, I think the only thing that really made the Spinosaurus episode annoying was the constant back and forth coming out of the paleontologists. But otherwise, it's like I liked the. I like this. How the paleontologist. What am I talking about? But I liked the Spinosaurus episode. It felt the closest thing to an actual classic Walking with Dinosaurs episode. And same with the Albertosaurus. Lusotitan also wasn't bad, but but here comes the next problem with the episode, is that the biosphere of the dinosaurs isn't very like they only ever like show one dinosaur and then follow it, which granted, that's what Walking with Dinosaurs too. They stuck around with a specific dinosaur and they watched its journey, story, right? But even still, the Walking with Dinosaurs episode still had moments where they cut away from the main dinosaur and like, look at this other dinosaur that's also like they still gave you a chance to look at the dinosaurs that the main dinosaur lived around. Like let's paint a picture. Let's bring back an old episode from the original Walking with Dinosaurs, right? let's say Path of Titans. Was that the one with the Diplodocuses, right, and the sauropods? Imagine if the only thing that episode did was like focus on the baby Diplodocuses, follow its journey, and then until it eventually became adults. And the only other dinosaur that they show of that episode is the Allosaurus. It's like that, basically, right? Ornitholestes, Brachiosaurus, Stegosaurus, all those dinosaurs, not cut them out. Only show the little Diplodocuses until they become adults, and then occasionally, oh, there's an Allosaurus and it's haunted. It's basically like that, right? And it sucks because like some of these episodes could have had potential to show some really cool and unique dinosaurs. The Portugal episode with the Lusotitan especially, it's nice that you had Torvosaurus there, but you also could have shown like Decentruous or Camptosaurus. There was you didn't show the biosphere. You only show these miniature stories of this one specific dinosaur. That's why I kind of liked the Spinosaurus episode the most, because it mainly focused on the Spinosaurus stuff. But then it had like Paralotitan, there was Erythrosuchus, there was Carcharodontosaurus, and they were doing their own thing. They had an unnamed iguanodont, which we only know it exists because of footprints. So then I guess shouldn't call it an iguanodont then. Let's say or a giant ornithopod, right? And But then a lot of the other episodes have like such minimal like biosphere. Like I said, with the bloody Lusotitan episode, they had Lusotitan, Torvosaurus, and a dead Pliosaur, and that's it. That's the only thing you see from that episode, and it's really, really unfortunate that you didn't show all that other stuff. It would have been cool. It would have been like walking with dinosaurs, but it didn't really feel like walking with dinosaurs. If anything, it's more like a sequel to Dinosaur Revolution or Dinosaur Planet than walking with dinosaurs. And even then, Dinosaur Planet still is much more engaging from a dinosaur biosphere aspect. Like, I don't know. It's just, yeah. Like, part of me honestly reckons that they didn't even originally wanted to call it walking with. Part of me actually thinks that this was supposed to be a different like dinosaur documentary anyway, like the whole like the early 2010s dinosaur documentaries. But then like some greedy corporate guys like, oh, people love walking with dinosaurs. If we just call it walking with dinosaurs too, people will flock to it. And that's why I think it's called Walking with Dinosaurs. Cause otherwise, it has no. The only similarities that this dinosaur documentary has between this show and the old school one is that they both have dinosaurs. Otherwise, they don't have the same color scheme. They don't have the same type of music. They don't even have the same format on how the episodes play out. It's just, it's just like greed in the end of the day. Yeah, and I guess it's the same for the CGI too, which honestly I don't really care about that the CGI is like I think Prehistoric Planet kind of put other dinosaurs documentaries on a pedestal that they must look like almost realistic. When let's be honest, if this dinosaur documentary was released in the early 2000s or 2010s, we wouldn't have we would have batted an eye, right? But because we're now like putting too high of a standard, it now has to in the end of the day, all that really matters is it for a dinosaur documentary is, does it teach you? Is it informative? Does it teach you about dinosaurs? Right, that's the only thing that matters in the end. As well as is it an engaging enough of a story? You can have the worst CGI ever, but as long as you're still like learning about dinosaurs, and that's good enough. And like, I don't know, for some of the episodes, sure. But then there's other episodes where like you're basically just showing these carnivorous dinosaurs as like movie monsters, and same goes for the herbivores. The herbivores aren't dangerous enough. Herbivores aren't just like Disney characters get along with everyone. Oh look, I'm friends with the baby Triceratops. Like levels, it's just yeah. Look, here's the order of the episodes. I liked. Like I said, I reckon Spinosaurus episode was the best. I also really liked the Albertosaurus. Lusotitan episode could have been better if it had more dinosaurs. It had potential. And then the others were basically just a Walking with the Walking with Dinosaurs movie, like redone and over exaggerated, like eye rolling Disney movie, and like the worst. I really did not like that Gastonia episode, which is unfortunate because I like Gastonia. It's a unique, cool ankylosaur that isn't really represented much. But then that's how the episode we get. Like, it's just, yeah. So, would I recommend this? If you like watching, hold on. Well, if you like watching paleontologists dig up the dinosaurs and see how they get the fossils and interpret the fossils and stuff, then sure, you might like it. If you wanted to get that similar feel to the old school Walking with Dinosaurs, then I recommend only watching the Albertosaurus and Spinosaurus episode because they feel the most like an old school one. You can't watch the other ones entirely, but skip the Gastonia episode. It's literally just like good enough. It's okay. Had potential. It's all right. It's bad. This one sucks, and it's in that order. Yeah. Otherwise, yep. That's all I have to say for this quote unquote Walking with Dinosaurs sequel. Anyways, that's all I have to say. Yeah, you go watch it if you want. And yeah, that's what I think. And have a good time.